So, thank you, Letty, for joining us for the peer-to-peer. And I just have to start out with, well, first of all, Rachel liked having an agenda for each day to kind of know what we're going to do. And so she has this agenda too. I don't know if you want to look at it or not, or if it would, be confusing or what have you, but so we're just going to go over several things like I'll be explaining the rationale for peer-to-peer, why we're doing it, and a little description of it. We're going to talk about strengths and needs for coachees. We're going to design a learning activity that will be objective, measurable, with action steps and a timeline. We're all going to do this together. And I'll have you do a pre-evaluation. It'll be real simple. The beginning of this peer-to-peer form, and then at the end you'll finish filling it out.
Okay.
After the activity. Okay, so Rachel and I are in the third circuit of the certification that I'm going through, and Rachel's been such a wonderful coachee and very supportive. I think we've really been supportive of each other, and I think too that there's just a lot of celebrations because, here we are, finally the last circuit of this, and we're getting close to the end of the last circuit. And I know that she and I have learned a lot going through this, and I think you'll learn some beneficial things too through the peer-to-peer. And I just appreciate too, because didn't you do the interview with us and during one of those?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you.
She was my practice parent.
Yeah, so yeah, I remember that, and I just wanted to tell you thank you for doing that, and then this as well. So we're at the top part of the pyramid with this circuit, and those are the intensive interventions. And a circuit kind of looks like this. So with the practice-based learning objective that Rachel chose, then we went through, did professional development. I coached her on the topic, did like a little mini training, and then I modeled it, and then she rehearsed it, and then today she did the live coaching, and now we're going to do the peer-to-peer. So that's kind of where that falls into the scheme of things. Do you have any questions about that?
No.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice diagram, pretty easy to see and read. So for the rationale for peer-to-peer, this is Rachel's opportunity to share the strategy, skills that she's learned, and the strategy skills for this circuit. And she has an opportunity to share those with another peer who she works with. And this helps to support Rachel's confidence and confidence in the strategy itself. And at the same time, it's helping her to engage others like yourself in the skill building with fidelity as a goal. And I know that Rachel can do this well because this is the third circuit. She did really, really well the first two times with the peer-to-peer activity. And when we talk about peer-to-peer, it's like, we call it the power of peers because you're equals in the process. You support each other. It's not one person telling the other person what to do. And that's especially effective when you don't have a coach present. So it's just working together on an equal playing field. Do you have any questions about that?
No.
Questions? Okay. And, excuse me. So I did explain a little bit by showing you the Pyramid Plus Coach Circuit visual. So I'm the coach, Rachel's the coachee, you're the peer. We're meeting outside the setting of the classroom, so we're not interrupted by children or other adults, other things going on. We'll be the coachee and you, coachee and peer, will plan the activity that you want to engage in. And we're going to be using the coach activity planning template, which is what was showing here. And we have a copy, okay? And I'm here to support you through the planning process if you need support. And then when you do the activity itself with Rachel, I won't have to be here. You'll do that, and then I'll come back and we'll do a debrief and see how the activity went.
Okay.
What you learned and what you liked and so forth. So are there any questions about that?
No.
Okay. All right, so next we'll discuss strengths and needs and learning styles of the coachee and yourself. Well, this is in relationship to the strategy skills of this circuit's learning objective. So Rachel, do you want to just explain to her real briefly what the learning objective was before we talk about the strengths?
Yes, my learning objective was to practice using 2 sheets, and I chose to use the ABC data sheet that has an antecedent of the behavior, a specific behavior, and then the consequence of the behavior. And then to learn how to use the behavior data sheet scatter plot, which is supposed to kind of show you when things are happening. So my learning objective was to use these 2 specific tools and to learn how they work. And to do that, I chose a specific child, identified a couple specific behaviors that I was going to be looking for, and then with the support of Cindy, worked on actually observing, filling these out, and then trying to work through some of the data afterwards on trying to identify some trends to help learn about a child's behavior. So we picked a specific child, but the overall goal was just to be able to learn how to do it for any child.
Okay. So we'll start with Rachel. Can you think of some strengths that you have around this particular strategy?
Yeah, coming into this, I had already seen these different forms before in a couple other forms, and so I already had a little bit of familiarity with what the forms were and kind of the purpose of them, just had not used them and actually put them into practice myself.
Okay. Anything else?
I always think that a strength is desire. I always think that's a really big strength. So a desire to kind of want to learn about them. And I was telling Cindy at the beginning of this, part of the reasons why I chose this is because I've always been very resistant to data collection on these things. I'm really stubborn about it, and so I thought, I just need to really get down and do it and learn how they're used and get some experience with it, because then I think I'll get past as Cindy was just saying, I like my time cards. Get to the point of really seeing the benefit of the sheets and seeing the usefulness of the sheets, so I won't be resentful and cynical and those kinds of things, because because I know that that data is an important part of the process, and having it in a form is going to be able to help communicate the things that I'm observing and help other people be able to see what I'm observing too. And I don't know, it makes it more hard fact that some of these things that I've learned, that bringing this in and saying these are specific things I've observed into a meeting is probably going to hold a lot more clout than, well, I noticed that at group time that she always does this, you know, having a very specific.
Yeah, and she's so right, because sometimes you have assumptions about why a child's doing a certain behavior, and then after you gather the data, you realize, wait a minute, I think I'm, seeing a whole other reason
There
why.
might be another little missing piece to this puzzle. I wasn't
or
noticing.
maybe it's more than one thing, so. And, other strengths for Rachel are that she's had a lot of experience with Pyramid and Pyramid Plus, and
I have had a lot of experience with Pyramid and Pyramid Plus for quite a few years.
And also just having a lot more support around this specific strategy, the skills involved because of the circuit. And so one of the needs that I'm hearing is that you really needed to get down into it and use them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have any other needs that you can think of that come to mind?
Not specifically for this skill.
Okay. How about around collecting data for challenging behaviors as a whole?
That in general, I see just a needing to get more practice on this. So I feel a need for more practice so these become really comfortable, and then moving on to some different forms and getting comfortable with them, because then I think I will have a better understanding of which ones I want to use for what situations.
Right.
I think it might be kind of frustrating trying to move through and figure out how they work, but once you figure out how they're really working for you and you're making it work for you, as we were talking about some of the ways that we can kind of individualize them, then it'll become easier and easier to say, oh, this is what I need to get out, so I know this is the information I need, this is the form I need to get that specific information. This will give me a little bit, but this will really hone in. So, so then, pulling out those other forms that we have in those resources and using those will be a future need.
Okay. So Letty, I don't know how much experience you've had around using or collecting data from, forms such as this. But what do you feel are some of your strengths just today, coming into this peer-to-peer? How do you feel about, what are some of the positive things about yourself that you feel you can bring to this?
I know.
I know too.
You got me here. Letty has also completed the Pyramid Plus training. So again, you already have a little bit of familiarity of
I remember kind of looking at
seeing the forms and kind of talking about what the use was for them, that kind of thing.
Now, just going through the training itself is a huge strength, because I know that takes a lot of time. How many modules is it? I think I want to say 18.
I think it's 18.
So you invested a lot of time in that.
It's a lot of time. So she already has a basic understanding. She's working with and supporting another teacher who's working through pyramid strategies and stuff. And because you're here at the Children's Garden and we've been incorporating some of these things through the pyramid model, kind of starting with EC Cares that then kind of melded into PBIS, but it was a lot of the same stuff that then kind of melded into Pyramid Model, which was a lot of the same stuff that's now melding into Pyramid Plus, which is a lot of the same stuff. They're all just pulling in from different places,
and
as it gets built.
And actually upscaling.
So you already do have a lot of background and already using a lot of Pyramid Plus strategies and things, which really helps
And another
create
strength
the
is your
foundation
willingness.
to do this.
Yeah, your willingness to be here too is another big one. So I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
So Emily, Letty.
We've done this so many times with Emily.
So Letty, what do you feel like are some of your needs around data collection?
Just probably working on probably doing it.
Okay.
How much is it? It's just the whole watching, but the whole just sitting down or just writing it down somewhere and then keeping it. Like it's just all watching.
Right.
That's what I'd always done too.
Mm-hmm. And me too. You know, when I was in the classroom.
Because for me, I think that's like easier. I'll like remember it, and like if it's with whoever I'm working with, I'll tell them, oh, I seen this, and I don't know if it was through this or that. It's just not having there to sit down the whole information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was saying at the beginning of all this too.
All right. So, so one of the things that Rachel and I did in the beginning is this. How do I put this? Well, there are questions. It's called memletics, and you answer a whole bunch of questions, and then it gives you feedback on what your learning styles are. And so, you know, before we share our learning styles with you, what do you think your learning style is? You know, how do you learn best?
Usually, just having like more of a one-on-one thing.
Okay.
It's easier for me,
All right.
where they can explain to me more what I will be learning about.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's like a big group and it's like just them throwing everything out at you, they can't explain this.
Okay.
Kind of all iffy to me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that sounds verbal. But it's even more specific than that because you're talking about not only verbal but just that one-to-one.
Relational.
Mm-hmm.
And also at least having like, probably also like having a paper kind of thing more to just like whatever they all cover.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a visual or something
Yeah.
like that that you're looking at and that they're referring to.
Yeah, so and I found it really interesting, I think Rachel did too, that mine was physical, social, you know, really like working with people, and oral, which I'd never heard of, is A-U-R-A-L, or oral. Oral. And what that is like, I do really well learning something if it's put to a song or a rhyme or a
It
rhythm.
has to do with audio.
Rhythm, you know. And then Rachel's, what do you want to tell her what yours was? Can you remember off the top of your head?
No, I'll have to look it up. So they have the sound thing too, and definitely I noticed I really like teaching like that. I try to put all my lessons to songs or rhythms or something like that. That's definitely part of that. Verbal, being able to talk about things and hear things. I'm pretty good at, I can go in and hear a lecture and get stuff out of a lecture. Whereas some people really need to be able to read it or something. I can hear it and be okay with that.
I'm more of a reading person.
Are you?
Mm-hmm. And then my others is, my other one was solitary. I'm more of a solitary. I tend to go away from the, let's all sit down together as a group. Like, you guys can go and sit in your group and I'll come over and do my independent study. And I do know that I seem to be a pretty logical person, so we talked about that as I go through these things. To me, it's always important, the why, what's the point? So if you can't tell me a why and what's the point, then why am I spending my time on it? So that's something that's just kind of important.
Yeah, and all that really helps because then if you know somebody's learning style or you know your own learning style, then you know what you need to learn it. You know what's going to help you learn it in a lot more effective way. You know, so Rachel will keep that in mind as she's doing the peer-to-peer activity with you.
I know I can't just lecture you because that probably won't be the best thing for you. I'm like, I know what you're talking about.
fun, but then after it's all gone.
And you know, if you ever are interested in answering those questions to find out, I think it's kind of fun. I think it takes about 20 minutes, I think, or so, just to do the memletics. But we like to mention that. So let's plan our learning activity. We've got the template here, and it's going to be important to make sure that the learning objective is measurable and that you can measure it, and that there are action steps, and that there's a timeline. So with that said, based on what Rachel did in this circuit with the collecting data, what is something you might like to learn from that as an activity?
Are you using the data sheets?
Okay.
Using data sheets. What I'm going to do is just kind of write down what we're talking about. I find it easier to kind of jot it down into a bunch of notes, and then I try to put all those notes together into a sentence. That's the way I find it the easiest to do, so that's what I'm writing it all over here, my little scratch paper thing. Are you interested in learning about both the data sheets or one data sheet in particular? One or both?
I'd like to do both.
Okay, so we'll do both data sheets. And then okay, so now I'm thinking the what. What would you like to learn about in using the data sheets? Like how they're filled out, the purpose of them, maybe seeing like the examples of what I did with Adeline, all of the above.
The sky is
I'm just thinking of different things that I feel like I could be able to show you. So I feel like I could show you the purpose
Probably
of them.
all of the above. Just
I feel like I could
getting
show
the
you.
purpose and why it was done.
Okay, yeah, okay, so I can do the purpose of these two specific sheets. And then the purpose of specific sheets. And then, then I was saying the actual format of how you put it together, individualize it for a child. And I'm just thinking that would probably be easiest to show you by showing you some actual examples of what I did for Adeline, and maybe how that might look different for another kid. And is there, then the other thing that I did, which I'm wondering if you want to if you would want to go into, is afterwards I kind of did some analyzing the data. And are you interested in kind of looking at the beginning of how the data is analyzed?
Yeah.
So now that take the data and then kind of the using or analyzing the data. All right. Using and analyzing the data. And then the other thing that I'm seeing that might be, that I feel like I could do, is would you be interested in trying to do some practice? And I don't know that we can necessarily practice the scatter plot, but we could definitely practice the ABC data sheet. Would you be interested in practicing, or are you feeling like, well, at this point that just feels like too much?
No, I would like to practice it just to get kind of the hands-on kind of learn
Okay.
how to work with it.
All right. Okay, so for what you're learning as an objective, then it will be to learn the purpose and use of these two specific data sheets and review analyzing data and practice using these two specific data sheets. Okay, so now we have to try to figure out how to put that into a sentence. This is the part that I always find the hardest.
And before you start with working on that, I'm going to go ahead and ask her to fill out the, it's called the pre-activity evaluation. So this is, before the activity with Rachel, you're just going to answer number 1 at the very top. So which of the following best describes your knowledge of the skill or the topic area before the peer-to-peer activity?
How much did you know about data sheets?
Yeah.
I'd say limited.
Okay.
Not too much.
I'm going to give that to you, right?
Thank you.
Okay, so we will have, I still have those things. I'm going to come over here and grab the ones that I did before, because that just helps me when I'm looking at prior examples for me to think about how I am.
Yeah, she and I both
doing my
have
writing.
found that we like to have an example to help us learn how to do something new.
How did I write
And
that?
even though learning objectives aren't entirely new, sometimes they just we need more practice in doing them so that they become easy for us.
Yeah, the wording, I just have a hard time getting it down to simple, easy wording. And I know I just have them.
And then while she's looking at that, I'll just ask you this. So let's say you come up with, okay, I want to do this, 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 and this, or this and this, or I just want to do this by this date. And how will you know that that was accomplished? So you can either write that out, or you can use this post-evaluation. So you would finish this, you started it here, and you would just answer these questions, and that would measure how well you learned during that process.
Okay.
So whatever.
I'll probably just finish the answers.
Okay, so we'll do the post-evaluation.
Somehow I just lost all my examples, so I'm just going to have to think of it now. I don't know where I put them.
I don't have any.
Actually,
I can pull up
2
one.
seconds ago.
Wait, I'm trying to think if I can pull up one. I don't think I can pull up one because I think they were handwritten.
That's okay.
Okay.
We can still do this. Okay, so
I know you can.
Leticia will I'm going to do lots of erasing and rewriting. We'll review the purpose.
And then are you working with preschool level? Preschool?
Yes.
Yeah, this is all going to be preschool age. The purpose and use of the ABC data sheet and the behavior data scatter plot. Leticia will review the purpose and use of the ABC data sheet and the behavior data scatter plot along with practicing the completion you be able to do this? Will you be able to do this tomorrow? We schedule doing this tomorrow?
Yeah.
We could do it then. Is today the 16th? Am I correct on that date? Okay.
Yes.
So we'll say by July, and just in case something weird happens, we'll say July 18th. Okay, so let's see how this sounds. Leticia will review with Rachel the purpose and use of the ABC data sheet and the behavior data scatter plot, along with practicing the completion of the two forms and analyzing the data by July 18th. So we have purpose, we have use, we have analyzing data, we have practicing, we have that you're doing it with me, and
I'm just wondering if completion is,
to complete.
yeah. Well, no.
I was trying to think of how to fill out.
Yeah, I was thinking completion is you would fill it out
Entirely, yeah.
entirely.
That's what I was saying, it's to complete.
But I don't know that you'd be able
complete
to
a
do that in one day, so,
Yeah, I was trying to think of the word
Yeah.
completion. I was trying to think of fill in, practicing, filling in, practicing
practicing
data collection. There, that works. Practicing along with practicing data
That way you're not tied down
collection.
to, ooh, I've got to do this whole thing. Well, then I might have to spend a month doing this.
Practicing
And we
data
gotta be
collection.
realistic with our time.
Yes, on those two forms and analyzing the data. Analyzing the data collected. By June 18th.
And then did we add that it's going to be measured by using?
In the past, we just wrote it down here.
Okay.
How will this learning objective be
Oh,
measured?
okay.
Peer to peer
Rachel has a
evaluation
good memory.
form. Well, I was just getting them out so I could refresh my memory and looking at the past ones I'd done. I don't believe I lost them in 2 seconds, but
But it's amazing how
Where's my
fast you
brain?
did this just now compared to the first 2 times. I mean, that's celebration. We're going to be celebrating when all the circuits are over and I passed my certification. And
ooh, Cindy, what comes before part B? Party. Just saw that on a movie last night. I pulled that one out.
is cute.
I
Part
have a Part A. All right. Is there anything else that you can think of?
Do you have enough time to do that tomorrow? To do
Yes.
all of those pieces? Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Um,
We got it planned.
then we just need to do the action.
It'll be an hour-long mini training. Okay, so Rachel will.
Activity action plan.
Okay, so yes, I am going to have copies of blank ABC data sheet as well as the blank data scatter plot. I will have copies of the individualized ABC data sheet and scatter plot. Scatter plot, and then I will bring my filled out ABC data sheet and scatter plot. So,
Are there any questions swimming through your head at this point?
no.
No? Okay, good.
What does it all mean? Okay, so I'm thinking I'll need those. And then I'm thinking for us to practice, there's 2 different ways that I see that we can do this. So we can either do a practice by doing kind of like what I did, that I can come into the classroom with you for a little bit and we can be watching kids and we can do that, or we can pull up some videos. And the place where I was thinking of pulling up videos is, I know that there are training videos on the Cephal website.
Yes.
That we could pull up, and we could just use any of those little training videos. I could identify a couple of those, and we could fill out some information on there. Or the other place I was thinking, and actually, I don't know why I'm thinking this, but it might be a place that we could also use for videos, is the Sandbox on TS Gold. They have the Sandbox where you can go in and see those videos of kids doing things, and it's about doing that. And I think if we just go under the behavior thing, that there'll be videos available there.
You might have better luck there than, where did that come from, did you say?
On TS Gold.
TS Gold?
And I'm thinking of that because I have to redo my certification.
Yeah.
My inter-rater reliability, and they always have all those little videos for you to
Yeah, you
have
may
to
have
score.
better luck with that, because when I was searching for videos myself, I was having a hard time finding any that showed the antecedent.
Oh,
And so, yeah, so that'll be something to think about when you're looking. I even looked on YouTube for temper tantrums, and some of them I could see, oh yeah, this happened, and this was the consequence, or the behavior, and then the consequence.
Do you think would you be more comfortable with video or in live, or does it matter? What do you think?
Probably a video.
Okay, so I will do my best to find videos, and can we use as a backup if I can't?
And if we